So we are going to conduct the Science 2 chapter, right? I am Mrs. Yasmeen Iqbal Shaikh from Meetanagar English Secondary High School, Goregaon West. Okay, so I'll share you the screen. Okay, so students, pay attention before we start with the chapter. So I would like to ask you a few questions. You have to answer that in your own mind. So, do all the boys and girls of your class look alike? So, you have to think that you are sitting in a class and imagine the faces of all the students of your class. Do they look alike? Yes, I'm very sure that you'll get the answer no, isn't it? How is the color of your skin? Right? How is the shape of your face? So, have you ever thought that why all these things are there? Means, how is the shape of my skin? How is the feature of my face? And most of the time, we'll see that it resembles our parents, right? It is not exactly similar to the parents, but it resembles our parents, isn't it? So the chapter belongs to that. So we are going to, in the chapter, we are going to get the answers of all these questions, that why boys and girls of a class look different, how is the color of my skin and why it is, and how is the shape of my face. So we are going to discuss all this and we are going to get the answer of all this uh, in our chapter. So the chapter is the 16th chapter, that is heredity and variation. It is 16th chapter of your Science 2 textbook. Science textbook. It is Science Part 2, Chapter 16, Heredity and Variation. So, genetics, this is a branch of biology which studies the transfer of characteristics of organisms from one generation to the next. And genes in particular is called genetics, right? So, now whatever however your appearance is, that means how you look like, your hands, your skin color, your hair color, your eyes color, or whatever your physical features are, so why it is and how it is inherited from your parents. So the study of that is called as genetics. So it is a branch of biology which studies the transfer of characteristics of organisms from one generation to the next, right? So I would like to discuss you one example which is given in the textbook. So it's like, now you have to consider yourself and you have to think of your grandfather, your grandmother, your father and mother, right? Now then you have to think about the color of your skin. How is the color of this of your skin? Is it matching to your grandfather or grandmother or father or mother? So you will find that it will definitely match with one of these. Then shape of the face. So however is the shape of your face, maybe round or oblong, or so that that will be, you have to think that it is matching to whom, whether it matches with your grandfather or grandmother or father or mother, right? Then height. So how is your height? Sometimes it is possible that even if the parents are short in height, the mother and the father is short in height, still the child becomes tall. So that may be because his grandfather or maybe forefathers must be having tall height, and which this character has been seen in this generation in you, right? So same as the case, the contrasting case is also possible. For example, your parents must be tall, but one of the child can be having a short height. So that is because of the uh, forefathers generation, grandfather, grandmother, that way, right? Then the next is the color of your eyes, orientation of the thumb, right? So all these characters, it is inherited from your parents, maybe father, mother, or maybe from grandfather, grandmother, right? So that is what is called as inheritance. When some of the character is taken from one generation to the next generation, that is called as inheritance, right? For example, if you're fair, and because your mother is fair, and that is why you are fair, so this character of being fair is transferred from your mother to you, right? So in this chapter we are going to study that how these characters are transferred, how this character of fairness has been transferred from your mother to you, right? Or maybe the color of the eye. For example, you must be having a brown color of the eye or black. So it is matching with your father. So how this character has been transferred, right? So that is what is called as inheritance. And nowadays, a lot of research has been going on in this field, right? That is called as genetics, and the scientists all over the world are studying on this uh, subject, right? So yes, inheritance. Now, all of you look at the facial features of all these four children, right? Can you see? Are they same? No, they are not same, isn't it? You can see the first girl. She is fair with a blue eye, right? The other girl is having small eyes. The boy is dark in color, and the facial features are also different. He's having a big nose, and the fourth boy, which you can see, the child, is also different. So, have you ever thought that though all these are human beings, isn't it? All of us are human beings, but we have the same features. We have two eyes, one nose, 2 ears, isn't it? We have hair, we have two hands, two legs. All these features are same. That means the children of the human beings look like human beings, isn't it? But still, there are variations, right? These are called as variations. If you're having difference in you, right? If you are having difference amongst yourselves, your friends are whole human beings, right? Isn't it? So that is called as variation. So we see the variation. Okay, so these variations are also because of inheritance. The characters are being inherited from our parents, and with some variation, the new one is formed. We are going to study how this variations takes place. Now here you can see an example of attached earlobe and free earlobe, right? Here you can see in the first picture that is called as attached earlobe. The earlobe is directly attached to your face, and in the other picture the earlobe is free. This is also one of the inherited characteristics which we can see, right? All of you sitting at home can also feel this. You can see whether you have an attached earlobe or free earlobe, and why this is. You can also think of your mother. You can see the earlobe of your mother, father, so with whom it is matching, and how this character has been come to you, right? So that is what is the heredity, right? Also, one more example which is clearly visible is the hairline, right? Some of the people, they have a round forehead, right? That means they don't have any hairline, while some of the people, they have a pointed uh, hairline, which you can see in the other picture, in which the person is pointing out the hairline or pointing out the head, right? This is also inheritance. That means this is the characteristic which is inherited from the parents, right? So I hope you are following the point. Okay. So okay, we have seen inheritance, right? The characters which are transferred from one generation to another, that is called as inheritance. The characters I've told you, I've given you the examples of different characters, maybe your facial features, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your lips, anything, and or the earlobe. While the heredity heredity is the transfer of characteristics from parents to offsprings, right? So heredity and inheritance, it goes hand in hand. Now you can see in this uh, picture the baby of the elephant. What can you see in this picture? A big elephant is there, and the baby of the elephant is there, right? Can you see the baby of the elephant is looking exactly similar to the big elephant, isn't it? Again, in the next picture also you can see a puppy is sleeping over the mother. So the baby of the dog is similar to the dog. Here you can see monkey, isn't it? Can you see the baby of a monkey? It is looking like monkey. And the human beings. The infant or the baby of the human beings looks like human beings. So this is because of the heredity, right? And these characters have been inherited, or it has been carried out, or it is hereditary, that we call it as hereditary. That means these characters have been transferred from one generation to another. So the human beings, the child of a human look like human beings, the child or the baby of a monkey looks like monkey, because these characters have been inherited from generation to generation, right? And still there is variation. So we will also see being similarity, how the variation comes. So the variation we are going to study how and on which, what is the character or what is the feature on which the variation depends, or how we are varied from one another, right? Transfer of characteristics from parents to offspring is called heredity. It is due to heredity that the puppies are similar to dogs, squabs are similar to pigeons, and infants are similar to humans. Now let us see the inherited traits and expression of traits. Inherited traits, traits means the characteristics, and expression of traits. That means how these characteristics are transferred. So, how do specific traits or characteristics appear in organism? So, you must have heard the answer is DNA. So, again, I would like to ask you, uh, where is DNA located? So, we have already studied that DNA is a genetic material which is located inside the nucleus of the cell, isn't it? So this is DNA. This is the cell organelle, or this is the part of the cell which is responsible for the uh, which is responsible for all our characters and the expression of the characters, right? So we are in this chapter we will study in details how these characters are expressed in our bodies, right? And not only in human beings but in plants, in uh, animals, all the different types of animals, the same things are going on. Inheritance is there, right? So with the help of an example from the plant, we will see how the characters are inherited and expressed. So the example is increase in height of plants depends upon the quantity of the growth hormone. This we all know, isn't it? So the height of the plant depends upon the quantity of the growth hormone. Okay, so the segment of the DNA which contains all the information for the synthesis of a particular protein is called as gene for that protein. It is necessary to know the relationship of these proteins with the characteristic of the organism. Right? So, in order to understand this concept of heredity, so we will take an example of plant height. The quantity of growth hormone produced by a plant depends upon the efficiency of the concerned enzyme. So, how much is that enzyme, that hormone enzyme? How much is that enzyme efficient to produce that growth hormone? So, that much will be the height of the plant. So, how these enzymes are created in the cell, how these proteins are produced in the cell, it is again the information is present on the DNA in the coded form, and then it is uncoded and it is transferred to the cell. That means it is transferred with the help of RNA, and then it is converted into protein. So whatever part of the DNA is coded for and enzyme synthesis for growth, so when that part is expressed and when and then it is converted into proteins, right? So that protein will be an efficient enzyme for the growth of the plant. Efficient enzymes produce a greater quantity of the hormone, due to which the height of the plant increases. However, if the enzymes are less efficient, a smaller quantity of hormone is produced, leading to a stunting of the plant, right? So if less amount of hormone will be produced, so the height of the plant will be short. And all this information is written or it is present on the DNA in the coded form. Okay, so the next is the chromosomes. What are chromosomes? Chromosomes are the structure in the nucleus of the cell that carries the hereditary characteristics, is called as the chromosome, right? So chromosome, it is a structure in the nucleus which is it is nothing but the chromosome is nothing but DNA in the highly compact manner, highly coiled manner. When the DNA is a thread-like structure, double-stranded thread-like structure. When you coil that DNA, the coiling is like you must have seen or you must have seen the phone. Means the previous kind of phones in which the wires used to be coiled. So in the same manner, the DNA thread-like structure, it is highly coiled and it is present in the form of a cross X-like structure, and that is called as the chromosome. So chromosome is nothing but the DNA in the coiled form, right? So here you can see the structure of the chromosome. So this chromosome is made up mainly of nucleic acids and proteins. So you can see this chromosome uh, during metaphase of the cell division, isn't it? You must have studied. So during cell division, chromosomes can be clearly seen under the compound microscope. So genes which contain the information about hereditary characteristic is coded in coded form are located on the chromosomes. Each species has a specific number of chromosomes, right? So whatever species, maybe of plant, animal, or human being, it is having the specific different type of chromosome number. So let us see the structure of the chromosome. You can see here there are two identical identical strands that is called as chromatids, right? So each chromosome is made up of DNA and it appears dumbbell shaped midway during cell division. There is a constricted region on each chromosome. It is called as the primary constriction, or it is also called as centromere. Can you see here the centromere is there in the center constricted point of the chromosome, right? This divides the chromosome into two parts. Each part is called an arm, right? One is called as the P arm. The short arm is called as the P arm, while comparatively longer arm is called as the Q arm. Depending upon, so there are four types of chromosomes. So here you can see the structure of chromosome is here too, right? Two identical chromatids are there. A constricted part that is called as centromere. It divides it into two parts, that is P arm and Q arm. And the DNA molecule, long string like DNA, which is coiled. Okay, so in exam, sometimes the question is asked, write a short note on chromosome. So next, let us study the different types of chromosomes. So depending on the presence of the centromere, where the centromere is located in the chromosome, so chromosomes are of four types. They are metacentric chromosome, submetacentric chromosome, acrocentric chromosome, and telocentric chromosome. Right? So here you can see the picture of all the four different types of chromosomes. The first one which I'll tell you is the metacentric chromosome, which is on your right hand side of the screen. The centromere is exactly at the midpoint of this chromosome, and therefore the chromosome looks like the English letter V. The arms of this chromosome are equal in length, right? So that is called as the metacentric chromosomes, right? So some of the chromosomes in our cell are metacentric. Then the second type of chromosome is submetacentric. The centromere is somewhere near the midpoint, right? It is not exactly at the midpoint, it is somewhere near the midpoint, which therefore looks like the English letter L. So one arm is slightly shorter than the other, right? So one arm is short and one arm is long. So that type is called as the submetacentric chromosome. Here you can see this is the submetacentric chromosome. The centromere is not exactly at the center. It is towards one side. So one is short arm and one is long arm. Okay. The next is accent chromosome. The centromere, so the chromosomes in which the centromere is near one end of this chromosome, which therefore looks like the English letter J, right? So if you'll observe a single strand of this chromosome, so you will see that it looks like the English letter J. So, and here also the one arm is much smaller than the other arm. This is called as acrocentric chromosome. Then the next is telocentric. The centromere is right at the end of this chromosome, making the chromosome look like the English letter I. this chromosome consists of only one arm, right? You can see here there are no two arms, only one arm is there. And if you observe only one strand, so one chromatid, you will see that it looks like the English letter I, right? So that is called as telocentric chromosome. So, based on the position of the centromere, there are four types of chromosomes: metacentric chromosome, submetacentric chromosome, acrocentric chromosome, and telocentric chromosome. So, sometimes the question is also asked with the help of diagram, we need to explain the different types of chromosomes. Now, before we proceed, also I would like to tell you there are other types of chromosomes also. Uh, those are called as homologous chromosomes and heterologous chromosomes. Generally, in somatic cells, that means all the body cells, chromosomes are in pairs. If the pair consists of similar chromosomes by shape and organization, they are called as homologous chromosomes, right? That means if the chromosomes are exactly similar to one another, if the chromatids are exactly similar to one another, then those are called as homologous chromosomes. And if they are not similar, they are called as heterologous chromosomes. So, in case of the organisms that reproduce sexually, one of the chromosomal pair is different from all the others, right? So, those are called as the chromosomes of this different pair are called sex chromosomes. It is also called as allosomes. And the other pairs are called as autosomes, right? So in this manner also the chromosomes are classified, that is homologous chromosomes and heterologous chromosomes. Homologous chromosomes present in somatic cells, while heterologous chromosomes present in sex cells. Now, chromosome number of some organisms. Here are the examples. Here you can see the chromosome numbers which are present. So, in dogs, there are 78 chromosomes present. In cats, there are 38 chromosomes. In horse, 64. In potatoes, 48 chromosomes present. While in human beings, there are 46 chromosomes. So we have studied that in human beings, there are 23 pairs of chromosomes present. 23 pairs, that means 46, out of which 22 pairs are autosomes, while one pair is the sex chromosome. That is also called as X chromosome and Y chromosome, isn't it? So some more examples given in your textbook are the crab is having the chromosome number 200. There are 200 chromosomes in a crab. The maize plant is having 20 chromosomes. Frogs have 26 chromosomes. Roundworm is having only 4 chromosomes, right? So in this way, the number of chromosomes they differ from uh, animal to animal or species to species, right? So before we conclude, so we will revise a bit. So today we have studied about why there are so variations. There are a large number of uh, plants, animals, and human beings on the earth, right? Though they look similar, but still there are variations. So there are variations not only in human beings, but there are variations you will find in each and every species of animal, in each and every species of plants, right? So these variations are because of heredity and variations. So it is because of inheritance. So we have also seen what is genetics. So genetics is a branch of biology. It is a subject which studies with the transfer of characters from one generation to the next, right? Or specifically, it studies the transfer of genes, right? Then also we have seen that the organisms which are produced by asexual reproduction, they show minor variations, while the organisms which are produced by sexual reproduction, they comparatively show greater variations, right? Also, we have seen different characteristics in the human beings, which are expressed, and we can compare with our parents, right? We have seen the definition of heredity. Transfer of characteristics from parents to offsprings is called heredity, right? Then next, we have seen inherited traits and the expression of traits, how the traits or how the characters are expressed in the body. So that we have seen with the help of an example of the increase in height of plants. It depends upon the quantity of the growth hormone which is secreted. Then we have also studied about in short about DNA. So DNA is the genetic material of our body. So all the physical as well as the internal or the phenotypic and genotypic, all these structures are because of the DNA. So DNA is the genetic material or the basic functional unit of life, and it is present in the cell in the compact form that is called as chromosomes. Right? We have seen chromosomes are clearly visible during cell division, uh, isn't it? During mitosis, and it is dumbbell shape. So constriction is present in the center, and it makes two arms: P arm, Q arm, and right. So we have seen the structure of the chromosome. Also, depending on the position of the centromere, we have seen there are four types of chromosomes. That is metacentric chromosome, submetacentric chromosome, acrocentric chromosome, and telocentric chromosomes. Right. Also, we have seen what is homologous chromosomes and what is heterologous chromosomes. And the chromosome number we have seen chromosome number in some of the organisms. Okay. So before we finish, so here is an assignment for you. All of you have to write the definition of genetics, definition of heredity, and also you have to write short note on the structure and the different types of chromosomes. Okay. Here we have finished with today's lecture. So if you're having any doubt, you can ask me. Hello.
Hello. Yes, teacher.
Students can ask question. If they're having any doubt, they can ask.
ओके टीचर। यस स्टूडेंट्स, अगर किसी को कुछ डाउट्स है तो आप पूछ सकते हो टीचर से।